Hello and welcome to another edition of Trotsky or Bust. It's August 13th. I wanted to talk about a few things today. First, before we get on to the main topic of RT, I want to talk about the elections last week and those, and everything went as expected. The Democrats, the progressives lost, corporate Democrats won. I was watching a few people try to spin it, try to pretend that, yeah, they had some victories. Yeah, what? What victories do they have? Like superintendent of some bullshit county? You know, you're not going to change the Democratic Party. You never will. It's too far gone. And hey, money is corrupts, and you can't. It's like the movie Star Wars. Once you go down the dark side, you never come back. It always rules your destiny. Democrats will never change. They'll always be corrupt. We need another party. I don't know if it's the Green Party. They're fucked up as it is. Maybe I don't know how we'll create another party, but the Democratic Party is not going to change, and hopefully, and it's sad because what they're gonna win the midterms, and they might win the midterms. They'll win the presidency in 2020 probably, unless they I don't know, unless they come up with Kamala Harris. Honestly, I hope Trump wins. I hope that the Democrats just keep losing. Please don't vote for if you're in a district where there's a corporate Democrat, West Virginia, please don't vote for them. As for the other Democrats, the Bernie, Alexander Ocasio-Cortez, I thought of an analogy for them, who I see them as. They kind of remind me of, how we've had all those police shootings and all these police brutality cases. And, well, we see it because everyone has a camera today, or practically everyone has a camera today on them. But before that happened, not everybody, there was still the same amount, probably more police brutality shootings, but nobody reported it. And we had those rogue cops. We also had those good cops. Well, the good cops were people who they didn't do the bad things. Okay, they didn't do it, but they didn't report the bad cops either. Okay, and they so does that make them part of the solution, part of the problem? That makes them part of the problem, and that's how I see the Bernie Sanders or Alexander Ocasio-Cortez. If they're going to endorse corrupt Democrats just so they can tell you that corrupt Democrats are better than corrupt Republicans, then they're part of the problem too. They're not going to solve it. I think they're just there just to snow us, just to make us believe that there's a slight chance the Democrats will change, or there's a chance the Democrats will change. That's their purpose. And if they want to be something more, then tell us not to vote for someone like Joe Manchin. They don't have the guts to do this, and as long as they don't, then we're not going to solve the problem. As long as we keep thinking that a bad Democrat is better than a bad Republican, we're never going to solve the problem. And that's it. Don't even worry about last week's election. And just everything that's as expected happened, and the Democrats are not going to change. The one thing the main topic I want to talk to you about today is RT. And this came to me not last segment, but the segment before that when I was talking about this Israel derangement syndrome. And I couldn't understand it. And it kind of came to me the last couple of weeks, what it's like, some of it, the explanation from some of it, and who are the beneficiaries of this derangement. Well, who is the biggest beneficiary? Like BDS movement. BDS movement's not going to do anything to Israel. I mean, all of these things, all the computers, the iPads, the phones, they all have security software that's made in Israel. You cannot boycott Israel without leaving the 21st century. So what are you going to do? Boycott Israeli hummus? I'll show them. Yeah. No. Who's the biggest beneficiary of the BDS movement? Well, the answer is simple. It's Benjamin Netanyahu. People if in Israel feel under siege, who's going to protect you? It's not going to be some weak left-wing politician. You need some strong right-winger, and Netanyahu uses this to his advantage. Now, what are these some of these outlets that really go after Israel? RT is Russia Today. It used to be Russia Today. Now they just call them RT. Now, does this make any sense to you? Think about it. I'm not talking about connecting the dots. I'm talking about connecting the dots for 3-year-olds. RT is owned by the Russian government. Who controls the Russian government? Putin. Who's Putin? Well, he used to be a communist, but no more. Today, Putin is worth, I heard, as much as $200 billion. Maybe he's the world's richest man. He's certainly a rich oligarch. We know that. He's friends with Trump. Now, Trump is not an oligarch, even though he likes to pretend to be. Trump is just someone who blew his inheritance. But Trump is a tool of the oligarchy. So is Netanyahu. Remember, Israel has the second worst income inequality in the Western world. Only the United States is worse. So Netanyahu also helps the rich. Putin is friends with Netanyahu. They meet all the time, okay? Putin is friends with Assad. He supports Assad. Now, Assad criticizes Israel, but if Israel didn't want Assad to still be in power, he'd be gone too. So that's all BS, okay? Putin is helping Netanyahu. RT is helping Netanyahu by having these deranged attacks on Israel. You know, one of them I told you about last segment, which she was saying that the civil war in Syria, where 500,000 people were killed, is distracting us from the real issue of Gaza, where 100 people were killed. You know, and some of it really gets, like you watch someone like Abby Martin, she really goes after Israel in a crazy way, even attacking young Israelis, that Israel is unsalvageable, that's the worst country ever. And think about it, when have you ever heard any positive story about Israel? Never, never, never on RT, never on these side channels. It's always negative. So either Israel is the most evil country in the world, or or something's up here. No one could be that anti-Semitic, you know, especially someone on the left. Leftists don't think that way. I'm a leftist. We see different sides to everything. You know, reactionaries see the world in black and white and good and evil, and they've labeled Israel as the most evil thing ever. This is nonsense, and this is not just nonsense. This has purpose. Purpose is to help someone like Netanyahu. Also, you look at Britain today. Jeremy Corbyn is having problems. He's being accused of anti-Semitism. He's been, of course, he called Hamas and Hezbollah his friends. You know, what leftists would call these insane right-wing organizations that want to kill gay people, want to put treat women as second-class citizens? What leftists would call them their friend? Now, he's retracted, but still, you know, this is a way to sabotage the left. Now remember, we're talking about if Jeremy Corbyn is having problems in the UK, imagine what happens in the United States. There's more than 4 times as many Jews per capita in the United States as there are in Britain, okay? And we see the same crap there. Jill Stein, I mean, you think it's a coincidence that she nominated Jamu Baraka as her running mate? I mean, Jill Stein, in my opinion, is just there to sabotage the Green Party. Okay, that's 1% of the vote in 2016. She got less than a third of the Libertarians. The guy didn't know what Aleppo was. There's a reason to this. They want to make the left, the real left, appear anti-Semitic. Okay, and once you do that, you're going to lose. You know, they call it anti-Zionist, but to Jews, there's, despite what you may believe watching some of these nuts online, vast majority of Jews see attacks on Israel as attacks on Jews. It's one and the same. Okay, that's how Jews think. And anybody who tells you otherwise is lying to you. Okay, Jews love Israel, whether you believe it or not. That's just a fact. And that's what this is all about, in my opinion. It's like I said, it's not connecting the dots. It's connecting the dots for 3-year-olds. Okay, these insane attacks on Israel are there to sabotage the left. It's certainly going to work in Israel. It's working now in the UK. Jeremy Corbyn is having problems with this. Now, this may not cost him, but he's still having problems with it. It's going to be serious once it reaches the United States. No real leftist, no real progressive. Even Alexander Ocasio-Cortez has to answer on that. Okay, you can't do that shit in the United States. Okay, one, because there's no basis to it. I mean, to look at the crisis that Israel is to blame for everything, and is just insane. Okay, and they know this, and this is why they take it to this level. Why they and RT, RT is owned by who it's owned. Okay, it's owned by the Russian government. The Russian government is controlled by Putin. Putin is friends with Netanyahu. Okay, so it doesn't take a nuclear physicist to figure this thing out. Okay, that's about it. That's all I wanted to tell. Be careful of RT. RT is not our friend. Okay, you see the people on there. Jimmy Jones now has a show. These people are not on our side. They're not progressives. I'm not just talking about Israel. That's just the Achilles heel that they're creating for the left. Okay, that's the only reason behind it. Anyhow, that's my thoughts. It's tell me what you think. Like, dislike, click the hammer and sickle. This way you can subscribe to this crap that I'm spewing out. And that's about it. Thank you for watching, and Trotsky is out.